Hi, it's me. It's the 15th of October 2020 and this is the latest episode of Built From Scratch. So yesterday I decided I would actually give myself half a day off because as previously mentioned, I'm now transitioning from preparatory steps to the start of content creation. It's quite a big change in terms of the work that I'm doing, and it just felt like a natural place to give myself a few hours off. It's been quite an intense few weeks' work, mixed in with childcare and all the rest of it, and you've got to have a little break every now and then, even if you're enjoying the work that you're doing. So I had a few hours off, went shopping, bought some gym gear because I'm hoping to start going to the gym most work days. Went to a cafe, watched the final episode of season 2 of The Boys, which was excellent. I've really enjoyed watching that. I'm conflicted about whether I hope they make season 3 or not, because it's been really good, so I kind of want to watch more, but also I don't want things to stretch out and storylines to be created for the sake of more episodes which are potentially less good. And I feel like the way they wrapped it up, when I think about how they actually wrapped it up, clearly there is going to be a season 3 with this woman who's going to try to become a politician, who I assume is going to end up being a baddie because of the head popping, albeit the political platform she appears to be building is very much morally good. So there's going to be a season 3, so let's not assess it, let's just sit back and enjoy it when it comes. So I had a couple of hours left at this point of the time I'd put aside, and I logged into Steam for the first time in about 2.5 years, and I looked for something I could play, found something, I forget what now, and checked if I was going to be able to run it on this computer, and found that I wouldn't have been able to, because I don't actually have a video card in this computer at all, just because I don't really play games. I just have like the standard one that came in the computer, which I think is laughably weak. So at that point I kind of gave up on the whole idea quite easily, really, because I've got loads of work to get on with, and I know from when I was a kid and I used to play computer games that if you do find something that you like, you can easily waste days or weeks on it, rather than the handful of hours that I had. So I got back to work, and that took the form of redoing the meta data on the pages of the websites. It's important that it was pages rather than posts, because it means we're looking at the homepage, blog post page, contact, about us, privacy policy, stuff like that. Pages where in the main metadata is not actually terribly important. It had got lost somehow because I had previously input it. It had got lost when I was messing about a few days ago with different SEO platforms. But it only took a few minutes to input it for most of those pages, and then I just had to spend a little bit longer doing some keyword research for the tags on the homepage and blog post page, because they're both going to end up being sort of hubs of authority on the site, due to internal linking, as is the case with pretty much all websites, homepages and blog pages or category pages, the ones that are just naturally sort of tier 1 and important. So that was worth a bit of effort, and whilst I was doing that keyword research, I had a sort of pleasant realisation, well, not a realisation, a reminder about how just how many things in the field of audio-visual equipment there are to write about. Almost an unlimited number of long tail key phrases that you can use as the basis for articles. So that was nice. I mean, I know that's totally obvious, but it just kind of peps you up when you stick it in a tool like Ahrefs and see these lists of tens of thousands of phrases, all of which have at least a little bit of volume associated with them, and many of which have either not been written about at all, or if they have, it's on really low authority sites that I should be able to rank above quite easily. I then had yet another session of doubting the acceptability of the transcription of these videos. I considered embedding the Otter Transcription because it turns out that you can do that. They have that set up within their app. So I gave it a go. The point being that the Otter Transcription, the way their interface works is that you can click into the text that has been generated, and then they have a built-in audio player which will play your voice recording, and it will highlight each word that you're saying as it goes along. So if you've got a transcription with errors in it, and there always are errors, because although it is a good automatic transcription app, automatic transcription is just never going to be perfect. So it highlights each word as your audio recording is reading it out. So if there are mistakes, you'll be able to understand what was being said much more easily. So I thought that might be a good solution. But there were two problems with it. First, it was heavily branded with Otter's logo and colours, and it really didn't look right on the page at all. But worse than that is that you embed it using an iframe, and my guess is that Google probably isn't going to read that text and index it, which is contrary to the whole point of having it on the page in the first place, really. It's about people being able to find the page, and then secondarily as a method for them to actually consume this content, simply because it's the worst way to consume this content, I would suggest. Is it? I don't know. I suppose it just depends how you are trying to consume content and your personal preferences. Anyway, the point is, I really need that text to be read by Google, and I'm not sure that it would do if it was embedded like that. So what I ended up doing is adding a bit of text to the top of the transcription section, which is now going to be on every single built from scratch post that I do, which essentially points out to people that if they are firstly, that there are going to be errors in the transcription text, and secondly, that there are a couple of things they can do to make that experience of reading it better. Firstly is to play the YouTube video at the same time as reading the text. And I also note that they can speed the video up, because I find certainly that the speed I can read text is faster than the rate at which I speak. So I think if you put it on 1.5 speed, or maybe even 2 times speed, it will be about right to keep up with how quickly you read. So that they can. What I'm trying to do there is achieve for them that same effect that I was trying to get by embedding the Otter text, where it can get read out for you at the same time as you reading it. Oh, and I've also noted that you could achieve the same thing by playing the podcast, the embedded podcast. If you're struggling for bandwidth, it means you can't play it at the increased speed, but at least you do get to hear the audio recording without using all the bandwidth required for playing a video. And also, finally, a note for anyone who's deaf or has any kind of issues with their hearing, essentially, by pointing out that whilst obviously they can't benefit from playing the audio recording, they can turn on the subtitles on the YouTube videos, which acts as a sort of secondary transcription, and therefore if there's an error in one transcription, there may not be in the other. So I think that's made me feel better about the whole transcription thing. Just acknowledging that it's not perfect on every page in which a transcription is posted is quite a positive step, I think, towards me being happy just putting it up there and leaving it in its current, in its raw, automatically transcribed state, and then offering people a couple of ways that they can make that better is good too. Then that was kind of it for work. I then went back to doing a little bit of personal admin, just to kind of smooth things out for the next couple of weeks. One point of interest is that I applied to a TV show a few months ago. It's called The Chase. It's quite well known in the UK. I think there has been an American version. There's definitely an Australian version. Anyway, I heard back from them. I've actually heard back from them a few times with dates to go on it, but it's been put off due to COVID, as ever. But I've now got a new date for this November, so literally just 3 or 4 weeks away. And they needed an updated proof of address and proof like ID, so I had to get on with that. I spoke to the builder about the extension, and he said he was about to destroy half of our lounge, so I had to move a load of furniture around. And then I left early to go and do a little bit of grocery shopping and pick up the kids. So it really wasn't a good day for getting work done. I'm kind of glad that I got a little bit done. But that's fine. Unlike some days where I struggle to really crunch through any good jobs, and feel annoyed about it. Yesterday it was on purpose, and to be honest I quite enjoyed it. And it does mean that turning up today I do feel a little bit refreshed and ready to step into the content. Speaking of which, last point of the day is that one slight issue with moving into content is that it feels weird. It's such an enormous step that is difficult to take in a way. I think the thing that I'm struggling with is not that it feels like an intimidating amount of work. It kind of is, but then it's kind of open-ended, to be honest. It's not really that there's a mountain of work to do, it's just that there's an infinity of work to do. So you kind of can't really get stressed about that. It's more the weird feeling it creates, like whatever I write first, which I'm literally about to do to begin to do in the next few minutes, it's going to feel so random, just selecting a title and writing about it, like when there are a million other things you could write about, and when you know that the effect of this article on your website may well be next to nothing, and is anyone ever going to want to read it? Will they ever find it? It just feels strange. But I have done this kind of thing before for other people when I was working in the agency, and to a limited extent for myself in the past. So I know that, I'm just going to do it, and then tomorrow I'll do it again, and a few weeks from now I'll have 10, 20 articles up or whatever, and it will just not feel strange anymore. It will actually feel like I've got a small body of work in place, and every extra bit of effort I make is just incrementally improving and adding to that body of work, and it will all feel grounded and real and sensible. But it's just a strange psychological barrier to have to overcome initially. But that barrier is about to be overcome. Good day.